college kickers usually spend the off season sometimes going to camps, working at kicking camps. And John Carney has one here that he's helped a lot of NFL guys with. Did you seek out? Have you gotten or gone to any of these camps? And who's influenced your kicking game?
I haven't gone to any of these camps since high school, and I didn't attend many. To me, it just wasn't fun going out there and kicking in a T-shirt, no helmet, no pads, no rush. It didn't feel real to me. It didn't feel fair when people were going out there and taking time to hit balls that they wouldn't have in games. So I would say I'm not a big camp guy.
What has allowed you to become the lead kicker in the country?
A lot of work in the offseason, a lot of work with the strength coaches, and a lot of work with the special teams coordinator, just preparing my game.
And in terms of holding 3 jobs at once, from kickoffs to punts to field goals, how do you handle the workload, the wear and tear, the fatigue factor, or has that not been an issue?
It hasn't been an issue at all. Just I would say the one thing I do is I limit the amount of kicks I hit into the net during games, because if you're hitting multiple balls per drive, that can add up a lot. So I just stay warm in other ways.
And what was it like to kick in the thin air?
It was cool. It's definitely something I've been dreaming of. I remember seeing all the signs that they have there that are supposed to intimidate players about well, we're at altitude, the air's thin, it could cause illness, and I was just laughing because for me, I've been dreaming of this game for a while.
And you get the chance to play on a Sunday. Do you think you go to play as a field goal kicker or as a punter?
Whatever I can. I would say most likely it would be punting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. We'll go to Bryce.
Hey, Matt. I asked one of your teammates this question earlier. As you guys are unbeaten and the country's trying to figure out how good this team might be, have you ever, in the little bit of time you have on weekends, have you sat around and watched early games or late games or highlights on Sunday? And has it gone through your head, we can play with these guys, we can play with these guys? Do you kind of look around the country and compare and contrast this program?
I would say as we travel, we're in the hotel Friday night, we watch games, or Saturdays before the game, we watch games, and yeah, I have confidence we can play with anyone.
And just to understand your point more, what gives you that confidence?
Just the tenacity we have on defense, the elite special teams we have, the offense we have, just when you sum it all up, I think we can compete with anyone.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bryce. We'll go to Jason.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for stopping by for today. I just wanted to ask, so now you're back-to-back Mountain West Conference Special Teams Player of the Week. Can you be going for that three-peat this week?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal every week.
Okay, yeah. And I also just wanted to ask you, Brady Hoke said something earlier in this press conference that you might have been one of the MVPs of this team. How does that make you feel?
That's a huge honor, how much he has been involved in the sport of football and how much he knows of the sport of football. It's just a huge honor to hear that come from him.
And one other question I wanted to ask. You've been getting a lot of attention on Twitter recently, especially from one Pat McAfee. Tell me, how's it feel knowing a guy like that with that pedigree is talking about you?
That was pretty cool. All that stuff makes me laugh. A lot of people are really creative on Twitter, especially some of the adjectives he used.
All right, thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. We'll go to Julian.
Hey, Matt. Hope you're well. I want to ask you, you think about special teams, you're punting, you're kicking a field goal. It's usually on fourth down. What's it like being the best fourth down quarterback in the country?
That's funny you bring that up. That's one of the nicknames I like to give kickers and punters is fourth down quarterbacks. It sounds a little bit better. Man, whatever it takes to help the team win. I know sometimes when we're going out there on fourth down, it means, we didn't get the first down, but hopefully if we flip the field and our defense comes out strong, we can get the ball back on offense.
I want to ask you about the trophy that you guys are playing for this week in the oil can. Just what does that mean to you as a player for this team and to be able to be in an opportunity to keep that trophy?
It means a lot in terms of the rivalry, but what I would say it means more is that this is on the path to getting the conference trophy. That one, I can tell you, means a lot more to us.
Well, thank you. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. We'll go to Brandon.
Greetings. I think of all the things that I saw this weekend, my favorite was the Small Heisman campaign that has begun to be built for you. Are you ready to take on such an award in all its promise?
I know it's never been done in history, but there's always got to be a first.
Could be you. I know it's October 26th, and I know you still have eligibility left, but if college is about preparing yourself for the real world, I'd say hitting 80-plus yard punts twice is about as evident of that as you can. So the thoughts on maybe finishing after this year, finishing this right out and heading to the big leagues, if it comes through your mind.
Obviously, I see stuff on social media, but that's not the focus right now. Just take it 1 week at a time, and this is a huge game for the team, huge game in terms of who's going to end up making it to the conference championship from our division. So that's really what all the focus is on right now.
And when you look at, as Jason was alluding to before, when Max is talking about you, and you see a guy like that who becomes such a big part of media, making the profile of kickers, punters, special team unit, making that a bigger part of the football lexicon, what does it mean for you to be a part of that as you really are now?
Oh, that's huge to me. There's definitely a lot of position bias. I don't know how else you would say that. But in terms of the amount of scholarships specialists get, it's less than every other position on the field. We're usually, last picked for a lot of things. So being a part of maybe pushing that narrative that kickers and punters can be as important as anyone else on the team, that's huge to me. That's a big goal.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Go to Kirk.
Hey, Matt, I know a lot of athletes, when they're busy playing their sports, they don't look into the history as much about that sport. But are you more of a history buff with football, and in particular the kicking aspects, punters and kickers at all?
No, I wouldn't say I was. Growing up, I wasn't all that into football, so I think that kind of plays a part into it. I was much more into soccer, but once I started playing is when I kind of started paying attention.
So next thing I want to ask you about, so are you much familiar with Ray Guy or his legacy at all?
I am. I know he was the reason they started recording hang times. He was the one that figured out that could help the team get downfield. And I do know, I want to say after one of his punts, they immediately took the football and tested it for helium. I don't know if that's just some tale or something, but I'm pretty sure that actually happened, which is kind of mind-blowing.
And are you interested in reading more about a guy like that to maybe see if there's anything you can draw from that would help you?
I have watched his videos and watched his technique before. I can tell you he was a big believer in the swing being absolutely straight. I mean, so for a lefty, your left foot coming up to your left ear and just absolutely no swipe at all, which is interesting, and I think it's something that I can take into my game a little bit.
I mean, I think he's still regarded as the greatest punter of all time, but I would think there's been a lot of discoveries in the art of punting since then. Do you still think that he would be as successful today as some of you guys are?
Absolutely. I mean, players like that are kind of they'd be great in whatever time they play in, but I'm sure the game has changed. I'm not sure if operation times back then have to be what they are now. I'm not sure. I believe he played before the Aussie-style punt, so I'm not exactly sure what he would do when he had a short field. Maybe he would just try and pin it out of bounds. But there's definitely been advancements in the sport, just like there is in every other sport.
If you look through the history of punters, is there anybody else that you've kind of really kept an eye on?
I pay attention to Jake Bailey, current punter for the Patriots. He's a San Diego guy. I was friends with a family that was their son was his backup in high school, so I kind of followed his career a little bit, and we're very similar. Our swings are similar. We're similar build, same height, same weight. So I would say I definitely pick some things from his game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kirk. Go back to Lee for one more question.
Yeah, since you're from Rancho Bernardo up here, the history of Aztec football, do you guys walk down the hallway at all and have any idea what you might be able to accomplish because of the fact that it's not been since 1968, Don Coryell era, that the Aztecs were 8-0 out of the gate. And, of course, they were on their way to an 11-0 season one of those years. But there's a lot of history here that you could reach out and touch. Are the players aware of that?
Absolutely. I believe we are, but like I've said for a lot of the other questions, our main goal is to win the conference championship. We're not necessarily competing with past teams. We're competing with the other teams in our conference, and that's just our goal. We want to go out and win our side of the conference, get a home championship game, and then go out and win that game.
And how about the Lou Groza Award for kickers? We'll put that on your mantle. That look good?
That would look very good. Yeah, I think it would look good next to the Ray Guy.